we are working on substitution methods, and this is the procedure. Remember, we worked on Monday on step number 1. We completed step number 1, that is to isolate one of the variables from the equation. And now, yesterday we worked on step number 2, is to substitute the quantity found on step number 1 into the other equation. So we did this yesterday and before yesterday, right? Today, finally, we're gonna find the answer. You're gonna work on step number 3. Solve the resulting equation, find the answer, x and y, or, depending on the case, on the situation, it's gonna be no solution or infinitely many solutions, depending on each situation. This is how it's gonna work today, step number 3. Let me show right now an example when I'm going to complete all the steps, step number 1, 2, and 3, okay? This is an example from the book, from the reference textbook, and we're going to complete all the steps until finding the answer, step number 3. That's the example. Solve the system by using the substitution method. Then we have a system, 2 equations with 2 different variables. Let's solve it, and let's use the substitution method to solve. Applying here the step by step, we will start with step number 1. We can start with any of both equations. We can decide which equation to start with, and remember what is step number 1 about. Step number 1 is about isolating one of the variables from one of the equations. So let's choose here what is the equation that's better to work to isolate one of the variables. And if it's already isolated, so we can choose it. Check this out. This equation here, the one on the bottom, it has the x isolated on the left-hand side. That means I can choose this one to start, to be equation number 1. And we're going to start step number 1 of this, x equals -1/3 y plus 2, because it's already done. There's nothing to work here. We have x isolated. This is going to be the result, the conclusion that we want from step number 1. The conclusion, the objective is to have one of the variables isolated. And we can move to step number 2. Step number 2. Now let's check on the procedure. What is step number 2? What we're supposed to do in step number 2? Substitute the quantity found in step number 1 into the other equation. So bring here the other equation. The other equation, the next equation is this one. Let's say this is equation number 2. So bring it here, -3x plus 4y equals 9. So this is the next equation, equation number 2. And what we will do, we will substitute this -1/3y plus 2 into equation number 2, into this x here. We're going to substitute, and we're going to find one whole equation only with y, only with one variable. Let's do it. Let's just move, get more space, and okay. -3 times an x is this expression here, -1/3, -1/3 y plus 2, So this is x. Repeat this, plus 4y equals, repeat this, equals 9. Now simplify. You got this answer here, simplify. Apply distributive property. So you're going to multiply here and there. Negative 3 multiplied by negative 1 over 3. Negative is negative positive. 3 times 1 over 3 is 1. And we have y here. And negative 3 multiplied by positive 2. Negative with positive. Negative. 3 times 2, 6. Repeat this. And repeat this. The last step here, last thing that we're going to do for step number 3 is combine like terms. We have 1y plus 4y. Those are like terms. You can write as 5y minus 6 equals 9. Finally, we will work on step number 3. That's this step number 2. We finish here step number 2. This is the conclusion of step number 2. We found this. 5y minus 6 equals 9. Now let's work on step number 3. Step 3. Remember, get the procedure here back, read, remember, solve the resulting equation. So this is the resulting equation. We're going to solve, we're going to apply addition property, multiplication property, and solve this equation, okay? So the first thing, we're going to add 6 on both sides of the equation. We are applying addition property, add 6 on both sides of the equation. So you're going to have 5, let's write here, 5y, negative 6 plus 6, 0, equals 9 plus 6, 15. Divide both sides by 5. Divide both sides by 5, multiplication property, and then you find y equals what? 15 divided by 5, 3. That is y. We need y and we need x. How to find x? Bring the first equation, this first one, x equals negative 1 over 3y plus 2. So x equals negative 1 over 3y plus 2. Negative 1 over 3y, negative with positive, negative. 1 over 3 times 3, 1, plus 2. That means x equals negative 1 plus 2, 1. The answer, finally, is going to be answer the order pair. Parenthesis, x equals 1, and y equals 3. This is the final answer. This is the solution for this system of equation. Any questions? This is step number 3. This is what's going to work today on the quiz. And don't worry if it's still a little bit confusing. We will work a few more examples on the quiz. Just make sure you understand we are working on step number 3 today. And we will start from the point we stopped yesterday, from the last thing, the conclusion of step number 2. We're going to start from there. Okay? If there's any questions, any feedback, anything that you want to tell me, type here in the chat box. If there's, if it's okay, might be not 100% clear, but if you don't have questions yet, not a problem. Let's move on and work on the quiz. Let's go. Let's move to the quiz. Before moving to the quiz, let me know the answer. What is going to be your answer for this bell work here, this challenge? The challenge is to check how fast you do calculations. What is the result of adding all the integers from 1 through 100? Now type to solve this challenge. The way I do this, the way it is usually done. Let me show here. you actually don't need to spend a lot of time counting. We're gonna do this: 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus, then goes on all the way to 49 and 50. This is the first half, right? The first half from 1 to 50. The second half, you write down here on the bottom: 51 plus 52 plus 53 plus 54 plus 97 plus 98, 98 plus 99 plus 100. Now we have all the numbers, right? The first half is here on the top, the second on the bottom. What you're gonna do is add 2 by 2. Add 2 by 2. Yeah, you will got it. 5050. Add 2 by 2, then you're gonna have 101 plus 2 plus 99, 101. 3 plus 98, 101, and on and on and on, and then we're gonna have the same thing here: 101 plus 101. How many times, how many 101s you're gonna have? From 1 to 50, 50 times, right? 50 times 101. And if you do this multiplication, 50 times 101, 5050. This is going to be the answer. So you type here the answer: 5050. 5050 is the right answer. That's right, you will got it right. But the first one is Anjali. Anjali know how to do this. Anjali got it right. The first one, 5050. Congratulations, Anjali. And you. And thank you, Joniel, thank you, Kalia, thank you, Maddie, Jacob, Kishore, Chris DL, thank you. You actually don't need to do all the way one by one. There's this clever way. And this, you're gonna, maybe if you keep studying math, you're gonna learn this in series of numbers. This you can do with any kind of series, from 1 to 1000, from 1 to 1 million. You can apply this method here to calculate the addition of any kind of series. That's right, thank you. The answer is going to be 5050. 5050. Moving on. Let's go to the quiz. Let's work on the quiz. And our quiz today, we finally gonna find the answer for our system of equations. We worked on step number 1, we worked on step number 2, and now we will solve step number 3. Find the solution for each system of equations. We write it as an ordered pair if it has one solution. Write NS if it has no solution, and write IS if it has infinitely many solutions. Let's check the first one, letter A. And this is the system we found on step number 2. We found this, right? Negative 3x minus 1 equals x plus 3. What we're going to do here, we're going to apply addition property. Negative 3 minus 1 equals x plus 3. We will add 3x on both sides, add 3x on both sides, and subtract 3 on both sides. Subtract on both sides. Then we will have negative 4 equals x plus 3x, 4x, and this 0. Negative 4 equals 4 over 4x. Divide both sides by 4, we're going to find x equals negative 1. Right? X equals negative 1. Now you plug in x equals negative 1, you can use this. Y equals x negative 1 plus 3 means y equals negative 1 plus 3, y equals 2. The final answer, the answer for this letter A, is going to be the order pair. X equals -1, Y equals 2. This is the final answer. Okay, that's what we're going to do. All the letters, all the other questions, this is the same thing you're going to do. You're going to apply step number 3, find X, find Y, and then the answer is going to be the order pair, parentheses, X, comma, Y, plus parentheses.